Hey, Grandpa.
Hey, Tamra. I hear you have a very special guest today.
Yeah, Roger Clark from New York 1.
What? From New York
I
1?
know. I watched him for I don't know how many years. I lived in the city. All I kept doing, like whenever I put New York 1, Roger Clark would be on. So he's been in my home for years, and he doesn't even know it that he has
Now,
it.
is that the guy? That's the guy who does the fun stories. It's not the guy who's got the funny hair.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Yes. He's all around town doing amazing stories.
Pat Sajak. Pat Kiernan.
Kiernan, yeah.
Right.
Not Sajak. That's a different guy.
He declined our offer for an interview, so now I'm going to make fun of his hair.
No,
the
he
whole
didn't.
time.
We
No, he
didn't even reach out. No.
Oh, okay. Well, we should talk to him anyway.
Oh,
All right, let's bring out Roger.
I knew it.
Here he is.
I'm always second.
No, we never reached out. Grandpa's a little absent-minded.
Sorry, I don't even know what's going on here. We still zooming? Is this zooming?
This is Zoom.
Is this a Zoom?
Yep.
Have we zoomed it?
This is how it works. The camera's there, and we're good. We're good.
I bet you're sick of this shit now already, right? The Zooms?
Yes.
How many Zooms do you do a week, Roger?
Oh man, actually, it's funny. I'm still on Skype. I'm old school, and I think today I did 4 in one day. 4 days. It was crazy.
Wow.
You're probably zoomed out.
We appreciate you squeezing us in.
Oh no, this is fun. This is like good Zoom.
Yeah, like chill Zoom.
Chill Zoom.
All right, so we have a lot of great questions we were dying to know. So, like, what is, like, I guess your origin story? Like, what's your journey to becoming a reporter or being on New York 1? What's your path like? How did it go?
Well, I talked a lot, so I didn't have many other skills, so I figured I might as well just use that. No, but I went to journalism school. I went to Syracuse University. I wanted to originally be a sportscaster, a big sports fan, but
wait, did you go to SI Newhouse?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
No kidding.
I followed in the footsteps of Marv Albert, Bob Costas, a lot of famous broadcasters.
Bob in your graduating class? You're too
young.
He's young. You're the old man.
Right.
He's young.
I'm older than
He's
Bob
young.
Costas.
You're too old.
I had a couple of. Mike Tirico, who does. He's a big time for NBC now. He was in one. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. But then started small after college. A little tiny radio station up in Oneonta, New York. I did not go to school there but a lot of people are like, oh, you worked at the school station? I'm like, no, I actually worked at a real radio station. It was a job. No, really, I did.
That's great.
And then, went from, and it was a progression. Back in the, it's weird. This was like in the 80s and 90s, so it was a little different. You really had to kind of go away to come back. You couldn't just walk into Eyewitness News and say, hey, give me a job,
Right.
So I went from Oneonta, and then I was in Newburgh, New York. I was in Poughkeepsie. I was in White Plains. I was back in Poughkeepsie, and then I got on TV in Poughkeepsie, and then I wound up here back in 2001.
You were in White Plains?
Wow, that's amazing. Where in White Plains were you?
I worked at WFAS. If you went to school or in Westchester, I probably was like the guy telling you, your school is closed for the snow.
Oh, crazy.
That's so cool.
Wow.
Did you know, quick factoid, Josh went to Syracuse.
That's right, he did. Which is amazing that you even graduated, because I hear it's quite the party school. So what was like the most interesting or your favorite, most funny, bizarre kind of story in all categories, I guess, that you've covered?
Yeah.
Well, I think, we were joking about the Emmy before. When I did the How New York City Works thing, we got to see some really cool stuff. We got great access, like to water tunnels and electrical tunnels and all kinds of crazy places that they would tell us, please, you cannot tell anybody you were here, or else you're, whatever. I don't know, some kind of threat. But
that's cool.
But the one story I covered that was the craziest one, and you guys might remember this is nuts. So there was a couple old guys in Hell's Kitchen, and one of their friends, he died.
Oh.
They wanted to collect his check from the check cashing place.
Oh, yeah.
So they put him in a chair.
I don't remember this.
I remember. They put the dead guy in the chair.
And they pushed him up to the window, and they cashed the check, and they were arrested.
What?
And I just remember being out on the street, and typically people will come up to us and say, what's going on? What's going on? And I was like, oh, these 2 guys pushed a dead guy in a chair to cash a check. They're like, what?
That is hilarious.
That's crazy.
Oh,
and
my
it worked
God.
for a while, right?
You can't make it up. Like, literally, it was a true story. And it was nice. It wasn't nice, but they got off. The judge let them off. I don't think they never went to jail, because they realized that they were, they didn't really know what they were doing,
Right.
and the guy was there, So, but
that is the most craziest story.
Can you imagine the 24 hours that led up to that decision? They're like, hey, Bob, listen, we got an idea.
No, like, I just
get some duct tape, get a swivel chair, let's get this guy down the block.
Oh.
That was in Hell's Kitchen, right? Where we lost our focus.
Yeah.
That was in Hell's Kitchen.
It's like they saw a Weekend at Bernie's. They're like, oh my gosh, we have an idea.
Was there any discussion when you got hired at New York One that you do like the interesting, fun stories and not like the murder, homicide stories? Like, how does that happen? They just assign it to whoever, or
do you?
Well, no, initially,
or do you get to pick and choose? Like, oh, I have this great story.
or are you like, I'm not going near any dead bodies unless.
No, things changed. You know, originally I was, you know, when I first got hired, I was the Staten Island reporter. I don't know if you like.
Oh, sorry about that.
Has because and my dad, like I said, my dad's side of the family was there, and I'm pretty sure I didn't have any qualifications, and I really, back then we used to send a tape, a resume tape. Now they call it. Now you would just put it on, on a link, right? But back then we actually had official tape that you would send to TV stations, and they would watch it maybe. But I got there. I don't even know if they watched the tape, but they said, you know where Staten Island is, you're hired.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like,
you had the guts to go there, more importantly. I mean, back then, Staten Island.
Yeah.
Staten Island.
That's fine. I actually, you know what? I love Staten Island is a lovely place. You know, I have fond memories of going to like my relative's house. You could play wiffle ball on the street. There were no cars. Like, it was funny. Forest Hills, Queens, where I grew up, was a relatively laid-back spot for New York City. But Staten Island, back in the 70s and the early 80s, I mean, it was like, really very, very, there's been a lot of development since then, but you could play in the street and run around. It was very safe. It was for us, like, it was weird. Going there was almost like a little like mini vacation for us back then. So I have very fond memories
back then.
Yeah, like escaping a little bit. So when you got, did you have to create your own stories, or do they say, how did you, when you were on Staten Island, you had to come up with some ideas? Like, how did it work?
Yeah, well, for the Staten Island stuff, most of the time I was my own stuff. I mean, and not to be a bummer, but like I was literally on the job for like 2 weeks and 9/11 happened. So that took care of stories for like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. So, and I found myself in the beginning, everywhere, it was all hands on deck. But then I did a lot of like the follow up on Staten Island, because, Staten Island has so many firefighters and cops and civil service workers who were there or families. So that was definitely, it was definitely it was funny. I remember my last job, I used to say, I hate covering funerals. And then all of a sudden here I was covering like dozens of them, because I had no choice.
What a bummer.
But at the same time, it was like, for your benefit, because it was just like you said, stories were just like easy to come by during that time. It's like a sad moment in history, but good for you.
Yeah. So it's, I like to, I always like to most people think of me like, as the, I like to think that I am versatile and I can cover hard news when needed.
Yeah.
But most of the time these days though, I did, I mostly find my own stuff, almost like 70 to 80% of the time. And mainly it's because I get help. Social media is huge. I mean, especially these days, I find it's almost overwhelming, the messages on like Instagram messages, Twitter messages, Facebook messages.
Are people giving you leads?
Yeah, people are great. I mean, sometimes I ask. A couple of weeks ago, it was, the thing was that we're all covering now with the coronavirus. We're all covering the same thing.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. The what?
He doesn't remember the virus that's out there. He doesn't watch a lot of media.
You mean the flu?
Grandpa doesn't watch the media.
Seasonal cough.
Yeah, it's just this thing that's going on right now.
Oh.
It's pretty huge.
Well, I haven't left the house in a while, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
He just reads a lot.
And I'm off the social medias.
He reads a lot.
I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take all the hate mail.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Haters gonna hate, Roger Clark. Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
So we have a really fun game. Grandpa and I are wanting to play with you.
Wait, can I say why? Because I know you're a punk band, Perp Walk. And I've seen some stuff on the internet about it. And I love me the punk rock.
It's awesome, yep.
So we thought, what's the name of this game? The name of this game is a short game. It's called is it a punk rock hardcore band or a horror movie character's name? Hard, long title. We got to work on our titles. This title was too long.
It's a very long
title. We'll lose our time on our Zoom.
I know.
Just saying the damn title. Okay, so in short, horror character or punk rock band. Let's hit it. Go, Tamra. What do you got?
Okay, so
he's gonna know all these.
Yeah,
Get the bell ready.
I know. I got the bell.
I know.
So is it a punk rock? So punk rock band.
By the way, Roger, you don't look like a punk rocker, and I thank you for blasting the stereotypes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, I never. It's funny. I never. like pierced my ears, got tattoos. I don't know, but I still love. But I like rock and I like rock and roll it all around. I mean, like I like Tom Petty, I like Bruce Springsteen, also, you know, the Who and the Kinks and the Stones. But I always, for some reason, I don't know, like that little part of my personality brings. But I know, but I remember sticking out like a sore thumb at shows because I was always like the door, like a narc, you know,
like a regular looking dude at a punk show. I mean, if we had extra time, maybe we'll have to come back and do a whole separate Zoom about punk, because I really want to hear your thoughts about what's that band with Billy what's his face? The punk rock band, but they're kind of posers, but they have a lot of top 40 hits.
Oh, yeah.
Shit,
Green Day?
Green Day.
Yes.
Not
punk,
oh yeah,
right? I like Green Day. I'm
top.
I was going to go see them this summer with Weezer. They were playing at Citi Field and they canceled it. You know, they postponed it.
Oh yeah, of course. All right, so get on with the game. Here we go. Punk rock or horror movie character? Go.
Leathermouth.
Leathermouth.
Oh, punk rock band.
Bingo.
Okay. You say the next one.
All right, I'll say one. Randy.
Horror movie character.
That's correct. And you name the movie for bonus points.
Randy. Oh my God, it sounds familiar.
Jamie Kennedy played him.
Oh, from Scream.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, you go. Let you do something.
Okay. Zebrahead.
Zebrahead. Tough one.
Zebrahead is a character from a movie.
Wrong. It's a punk band.
Oh.
Let's see.
Okay, Voorhees.
Oh, Voorhees.
Oh, that's a cool name. Well, Jason Voorhees, he's a cool movie character, right?
Well, no.
Is it a band too?
It's kind of both. It's actually a punk band.
Oh, that's a cool name for a band.
Voorhees. But I guess they're probably named after Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I would hope so. It's also Voorhees, New Jersey. But
Father McGruder.
Oh, that's a horror character.
That is. It's from a movie called Brain Dead, which I never saw.
Good. Roger's good.
All right, can I do one more?
Yeah, one more.
Conal Cochran.
That's a band.
That's from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh.
Conal Cochran.
Yes.
All right,
the Irish get a bad rap in that movie too. The whole town is like an Irish. Why are the Irish behind this? Like the whole town is Irish.
Yeah.
Right. That's
right. Crazy.
Speaking of Irish, I'll do this in an Irish accent.
Shamrock Mask, right?
Yes. Le Tigre.
Oh,
Le Tigre is a band.
Correct.
With
he's right. Good, man.
Last one, because we're running out of time.
Last one.
Pale Man.
Pale Man?
Pale Man.
That's a horror movie.
That's correct, from Pan's Labyrinth in 2006.
Good.
Wow, good job. Have a drink. Drink every time you get it right. Good job, Roger Clark. So that wraps.
White Claws are strong. Ooh.
I know.
Just kidding.
Oh, so and in closing.
Yeah, in closing. Last question.
And be honest, because we're gonna call him up someday and ask him about you.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. What's Pat Kiernan really like? And is he wearing a hairpiece?
Oh no, he just has great hair.
He's got good hair, TV hair.
Grandpa asks all the crazy questions.
See, look at him. He's backing up his butt. I appreciate that. I'd throw him under a bus, but that's fine.
I love that.
I can't. Are you kidding me?
He makes me feel so comfortable when I watch Pat.
You know what makes me feel comfortable about New York One? Is the little logo that they have down in the bottom corner.
I love that.
Oh, they call that the Bug. You know that?
The what?
What's that?
It's called the Bug.
I love the Bug.
I love it.
Look,
the time and the temperature, a little thing. That's called the Bug. That's a nickname for business.
Oh, look at that bug.
Look at that bug.
That's a cool bug.
That's a cool bug. Wow. We should have a bug.
That's why we're looking down there. We're going to do it in post.
No,
you guys need a bug.
We have a bug. We have a bug. It's right there.
Oh, that's our bug? Okay, that's our bug.
I need a bug. I don't know. I wish I had a bug right now.
We'll get you a bug. We'll get you a bug in post.
In post. We'll give you a bug.
It'll be a mini you holding a giant Emmy.
Yeah, just point to it and we'll put the bug in post.
So, Roger, we want to thank you so much for doing our interview.
That was so much fun.
And for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for playing.
It's good to finally meet you guys in person after seeing you on Instagram all these years.
Oh, come on. We're Insta famous. All for the gram. You know what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to say my goodbyes now, but Josh is going to come back. Roger, great meeting you. Thanks for being on the show.
You too, Grandpa. Nice meeting you.
Nice to see you.
Roger, don't go changing.